the great secret of life, taught by Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha. Purity is power. Any age can and should be beautiful. Every age will lead us, will bring us a piece for the construction of this exceptional being, so we can retain the innocence of the child. That purity, that sincerity, that clean capacity to deal with things and see things, we can retain that. We can retain the spirit of the young, the determination, the strength, the ability to drink from the poetry of life, that enchantment with life, with the mysteries of life, the spirit of adventure. We can retain that. We can retain the balance and lucidity of the adult, and the symbolic and metaphysical capacity of the elderly who see through things, that they go beyond appearances and grasp the heart of things. They have learned the language of life, which is symbol. Combine all of this in the human being. Can you imagine? All of this without losing anything. Adding, like in an educational process where all teachings should accumulate and not replace each other. That is an exceptional human being, pure, like a child, strong, like a young person, balanced, like an adult, and spiritual, like an elder, all together, in one being. It is the most beautiful spectacle in the world. It is rare to see performances, but it is the most beautiful spectacle in the world. Youth today is very different from the youth we would like to treasure. The peak of physical energy should be used by man to launch himself towards his dream. But this youth is so contaminated by selfishness, vanity, self-assertion, that it despises the old, but it is old. It wants to reinvent the wheel. Today's youth has a blind reaction to the old order of things. It wants to build the new without being new. It wants to change things simply to assert itself. There is nothing older in the world than selfishness and vanity. If you want to renew, great. Fight against these two, because otherwise you're doing the same thing. You just changed the packaging. So, you want to renew? Fight against these two. That's a good fight. He talks about stealing, about emptying the meaning of the ages of life. Youth, which is the peak of physical energy. What is it associated with today? Laziness. Isn't that curious? Isn't it curious that at the moment when you have more energy, you use it less? And it is this rigidity that prevents it from renewing itself and the world. The young person should add modesty, affection, the capacity for deep feelings, willingness to learn, that is, wanting to know what is behind appearances. Have the courage to think for oneself.
Why is that?
Not, it's the tribe.
Everyone thinks like this. I'll think so too. To be accepted.
There is no need to be needy at such a young age. Are you already so needy? It's time to give and not to receive. In other words, deep affection, willingness to learn. You will see that in the Platonic dialogues, Socrates loved dialogue with young people. Look how pure they are, how clean, how unspoiled by prejudices, how they want to know. Today he might not say that anymore. In other words, a 13, 14-year-old who is no longer interested in knowledge, in discovery, in delving into things. How is that possible? What is the perspective from there? So, this vital curiosity, this daring to want to steal the essence of things. Socrates loved to dialogue with these young people.
Living thought.
Respect and love for order, all this added to the energy of youth. The young person realizes that order produces creativity, produces intelligence, makes things work. He can expand order, not abolish it and live in chaos. He wants to know how to order in a more perfect way and not live in the midst of lack of order, lack of intelligence. He wants to expand the possibilities of the universe and not annihilate it. He says, well, That would be true youth, an extraordinary force. Conventional psychic formation can be changed. This is a curious thing. It seems obvious, but in our current world, we do not believe that the human being can change. I have a flaw. Do you believe that you can completely eliminate it? I have a habit. I have a vice. Can I completely eliminate it? We don't believe it. It's my horoscope. The Chinese, the Western.
It's my temperament.
It's... I don't know what. Ancient traditions say that the stars incline over man, but do not determine.
Your entire zodiacal hell is pointing over here.
And you go over there.
Why?
Because you are a human being. So, be careful not to start thinking that we are conditioned by these things, because that is nothing more than an excuse not to change.
My father.
My mother.
Neighbor.
It's everyone's fault.
So,
I'm here. Poor thing. Maybe next time it will work out better, but this time it didn't. In other words, this transfer of responsibility to God and everyone else, which we have the habit of doing, amuses us a lot. As Carlos Drummond de André said, the habit of suffering that entertains me so much, we can change. This is possible. But we don't realize it, because it happens little by little. One day, another day, 1 week. 1 week doesn't make any difference. It does. If we lived 1,000,000 years, 1 week wouldn't make a difference. But for someone who lives 80, 90, it does. It passes, another month, another year. You lose flexibility, you lose creativity, you lose focus, you lose discernment, you become stiff. You repeat the same procedures mechanically. When you realize it, you've practically lost. You've imprisoned your soul. You've lost the possibility of expressing the soul. I will maintain my flexibility. I will maintain my pure view of life.
why?
Because I want to. Because I construct myself by definition, by an act of will. This thing is sensational. You know why? One age no longer replaces the other. I begin to add their virtues. You don't lose anything. Life is not a process where one age replaces another. They add up. The potential of childhood with that of adolescence. They add up, and in the end you have the culmination of the masterpiece of life, which is a complete human being. And you can do that. This is regeneration in life.
And, in a way, it is learning to die.
You stop fighting death when you bring it close and die every day. Every day, a limitation dies, a prejudice dies, a lack of control dies, something that hurts me, hurts others. Every day, something dies. At least a small situation, a small application. Finding this self demands a quiet mind, which renounces purposes and personal concerns. Quiet mind, when selfishness stops chattering, which generally it doesn't stop for a minute. Is yours stopped at this exact moment?
No,
I don't know what. I want to wash the car. I want this. I want to rest, put my legs up. I want to watch something on TV. It doesn't stop wanting. It doesn't produce a minute of silence. Those who are capable of producing a certain silence and perceiving themselves, engaging in a dialogue with themselves, they are rare. When this quiet mind renounces purposes and personal concerns, it creates an exceptional person. The white lotus, which is the Eastern symbol of purity that emerges from the midst of putrid water, in a marsh, and rises above this marsh, and opens its petals completely white. In other words, it is not a product of the environment, it is a product of itself. The ability to be a product of oneself. A fantastic thing, and human beings can do that. That person we sometimes hear say, "I'm not a very balanced person."
but look, nobody is in the world.
Do you see a lot of balanced people?
No,
So why would I be?
Do you know what that person is trying to tell you?
That they will only have virtue when the whole world is virtuous.
They are a sponge.
You dip them in a bucket of red paint, they are red. Squeeze them well, put them in a bucket of blue paint,
They are blue.
they are what the environment determines. They do not have the capacity to choose their own future. They are slaves to circumstances. They must be capable of choosing which pole they want, and have an act of will to define themselves by that pole. So, this ability to be a product of oneself, to sprout from within, to have an awakened essence through which you see the essence of the world around you, a communication of essence to essence. These are exceptional human beings. They begin to discover the language of life, which is symbol. They begin to see through appearances. Unfortunately, they are still a minority. Do you believe that?
Everything is a work of imagination.
The human being will be what the human being believes he can be. Things are born in the realm of ideas and then materialize. Old age should be like a sunset. Innocence, ardor, capacity to learn and achieve as before. In other words, everything from childhood, adolescence, youth, added to the softness of maturity and peace, capacity to dive and transcend.
You want to see through a situation in your life? Ask an elder.
They have learned to see through appearances what life is trying to tell you. They speak the language of symbols. Want to see through a person's attitude?
Ask an elder.
You want to know what life is trying to tell you? The elder speaks the language of life. Ask them. They see through events, decode the heart of life for you. They know how to see. They know how to scrutinize the hearts of beings, including their own. So, they have a fantastic service to provide to society. Capacity to dive and transcend. Such a life is the most beautiful phenomenon to behold. Indeed, human life is a spectacle. Complex. No other life brings so many elements into play. Intelligence, creativity, love, compassion,
Many elements.
perception of unity. Complete human life is a spectacle, just the way it should be, when it fulfills its metaphysical script, and not just the physical one,
When it lives.
and not just survives. Stop doing evil, learn to do good, cleanse your own heart. This is the teaching of the Buddhas. Simply cleanse your own heart and let life pass and do its job. Keep the channel unobstructed. Don't seek love. Seek to break down, within yourself, the barriers that prevent love from flowing. Purity is power. From the moment you worry about removing the barriers so that life can flow, it does its job. Just don't interfere. Just don't interfere. Purity is power. From the moment you worry about removing the barriers so that life can flow, it does its job. Just don't interfere. Just don't interfere.
Purification.
Simplicity in life. Sky without clouds. Serene and simple. Without this, life is a shell, appearance, with nothing real. We live in a bubble. We don't even touch reality. We float above life. We don't touch each other. We don't see what things are, nor are we curious. And we don't see ourselves. A simple, pure, and profound life, where we do not hinder the flow of the great life. Just that. And we can achieve this by harnessing the energy that each phase of life gives us. We can regenerate ourselves. We can generate a human spring. And this is not the result of chronological time. It is the result of will. It happens when we want it to. It can happen every day.
Learning to die a little every day to be reborn.
Then there's no reason to fear death. It becomes your travel companion.
If you enjoyed the content, please hit the like button and subscribe for more. Your support means everything to us. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.